I don't know. Last split was weird because it was only 4 teams, right? So like you win 2 best of 5s and that's it. This time they have to win 3 best of 5s. So we'll see. Honestly, I'm not sure. We've never played in a best of series before as Clutch. So it's possible that like we play differently and it's not successful. But for me, I'm a lot more confident in best of situations. So I'm feeling pretty good.
And so far, not too bad, as Clutch did tie the last game up. Hello and welcome back to for Game 3, where our teams are in lockstep after a Game 2 win out of Clutch Gaming.
And it was mostly off the back of Piglet, who completely popped off that game, playing the Tristana pick, having 3 tanks and an Orianna around him, and the team was able to get to the late game fantasy and smash that one. And that makes me think that we're going to be in for some pretty long games. Both were pretty low kill, not super fast paced, and the team with the better team comp won.
That's true. I mean, I think I expected FlyQuest certainly to be playing pretty slow. I think Clutch have realized that, you know what, in a best of series, we need to maybe play a little more solid, find something a bit more consistent, and probably the most consistent way for this team is to play through that man that's walking back to his seat, Piglet, who kind of brought back Tristana. She doesn't really leave the game, I feel like. Yeah. Players always want to play her when there's an option to, but if anyone's going to break out something, even if it's not meta, and I don't think Trist is necessarily in that spot, it is going to be someone like Piglet.
I mean, he was hovering that Twitch pick, and I was 100%.
I was ready. I was ready.
Back, yeah. But I think to that point about slowing the game down a little bit, going back to off the assassins maybe, makes a lot of sense just from what we've seen in the last 2 games. When I say better team comps, I mean better 5v5 team comps. So in the first game, FlyQuest had a lot of tools to interact with Clutch Gaming's comp and kind of shut down what they wanted to do. And then when they got ahead, they just did exactly that. This time around, the team wants to 1-3-1. They kind of get ahead, but they're not clean enough in the 1-3-1 execution. And so when it gets to 5v5 team fighting, the Tristana Orianna comp absolutely rolls over it.
Kind of interesting that Clutch are back on the blue side, as we'll get ourselves into Champion Select for game number 3. Let's see who can get the first match point of the series. And I think with Clutch being back on blue, part of me almost wonders, is like, just give them Akali again?
I mean, you might be able to. FlyQuest banned it for themselves on blue side once they didn't feel like they could guarantee get the counter pick to it. But we'll have to see, because while the Akali by Sun was pretty good, it did feel like the 5v5 team fighting with it was a little difficult, and I liked what the Poppy did to it, what the Alistar did to it, and I would be interested to see if FlyQuest feels the same.
Well, it looks like Aatrox and Nocturne will continue hanging out on the Phase 1 red side bans. That's 3 games in a row now they've been taken off the board. Clutch, though, pretty quick with these bans. Braum, Varus, and Trundle all taken away. So these are all series bans.
Yeah, big move from Game 1 blue side, where there was a lot more mid lane focus. They banned out the Ryze and things like that. They've completely targeted the bot lane this time around. The Varus 2 games in a row. They say, Airy, you've had enough of that. They ban out the Braum instead of the Alistar, but that does leave Xayah Rakan being dropped and instantly locked in by FlyQuest bot lane.
They left Akali up by ending Kindred once more, so I kind of like what FLYA have done here. Really strong 2v2 bot side. Quan can have another really powerful engage champion. His Braum was good. His Alistar, I think, was better. So I think just having the ability to be more proactive is always a nice thing. And Moon will take Graves again. Vulcan will take Alistar with Rakan off the board. And Akali was, like we mentioned, the first pick. So Piglet again is going to get pushed down here. We'll see if FLYA answers here. Do they take a jungler? Do they take a solo laner? I feel like maybe Meteos just wants to match his matchup here.
I would assume so. It's a little surprising, or they will go for the mid lane Ryze. Like I was saying, they played this twice in week, well, they're our week 8 if you're coming from an LCS thing, but it was effectively their week 9. He played that twice into the Akali, worked out pretty well once, struggled another game. Looks like they are going to give him the focus, as there were a lot of things to try and answer there. Do you want to answer the Akali? Do you want to answer the Graves? They say Akali, and Meteos will probably get his champ pool pinched here, which, or maybe not. Maybe they're going to go and try and stop things that annoy the Akali.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder if FlyQuest is just like, oh, let's ban on after the Poppy ban away. I think it's maybe coming. I mean, there's other tools as well. I think On, like you mentioned, is still quite popular, but not nearly as strong as he was in his heyday. And maybe Piglet will continue to get pressure. Instead, no, it is actually On taken away.
Good call, Pastry.
Hey!
I'm a little surprised to see the Tristana taken away. That did feel a little bit like a 5v5, we're going to have a hyper carry strategy, which I don't think they're going to go for with Akali in the mid lane. Now Piglet will finally get access to some of the other marksmen that have been getting banned out, like the Ashe, like the Ezreal. And there's also no jungle pinch as a result either, so Meteos will be able to grab whatever he wants here that's not Kindred or Nocturne. And that's a little surprising because the blind Graves, most of the time people pick that in response to Trundle. Here he's taking it saying Meteos won't pick something that's going to punish it. We'll see if he tries to.
I wonder if they'll leave it to counter pick on it as well. Maybe no wants that. Ooh, Gragas, I like this actually. Kind of a flex. Pretty rare place to find a flex pick in a draft and pick 4, but I'll take it.
Yep, might go mid, might go, or excuse me, jungle might go top. Piglet most likely not going Vayne.
Yeah, customary hover though.
Yeah, must do it. I expect to see the Ezreal here. That would make a lot of sense to me. Actually going to go with the Kali top, and we're going to have the Ahri mid into the Ryze pick.
Interesting. All right, so Clutch actually flexing one of their solo lanes in phase 1. Kind of see how they round it out. Like you said, a lot more marksman options open this time around here for Piglet, unless mages are making a return. But whatever's happening, there's a lot of chatter between the coach and the players. With only a few seconds left, they'll lock in Kennen. All right, what's happening, Mugsy?
So I'm expecting that to be Marksman Kennen, which would be a little surprising. I guess it's the kind of thing where when the Rakan goes in, with his R, you press yours and you try and stun him and then kill him before he can get back out. And the Alistar focuses more on countering out the Xayah. I'm not sure though. So this is going to be a real fun draft as the jungle, Gragas, stays in the jungle. And Jace picked in the top side to try and bully this Akali early on, which like we've seen, mostly focuses on sustaining the early laning phase. Or are we getting the return of the midlet?
This is what I thought, because I think if you pick Jace, you think Kennen is the top laner. Because that's one of the best matchups you can have.
Yeah, I mean, Jace as the counterpick to Kennen is a really strong matchup. I thought it was just picking it as a generic answer to top laning Akali because I wasn't sure how much practice No has had against it. We continue to see things flex around.
Clutch is smiling. They know they pulled something here in this draft.
So the Ahri's going to be in the bot lane most likely. We'll see if there's any role swaps that come in because we might see midlet return. I don't think that's quite as likely. Instead, we do see the Akali in the mid lane, the Kennen in the top side. And we are in. I hope this game is more explosive. I don't see how you can get these lanes and not have an explosive, fast-paced game.
Yeah, I don't think so either, but coaches will shake hands. I think McStrike's going to have a silent grin on his face. Yeah. I would.
Oh, definitely. You have one team picking this pretty standard 1-3-1, 4-1 comp, and then you pull that out. You're going to have a... This either blows up in your face or looks fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of an interesting inflection point in the series as well. I think you pretty obviously don't do this down 0-2, but tied 1-1, just trying to kind of break serve and...
I mean, this sounds like a 0-2 strategy to me. Like, all right, screw frontline. We're all picking damage. All of us are going to carry. You got 4 carries on the side of Clutch Gaming. None of them are really 80 carries. You do have the marksman, quote-unquote, Graves in the jungle, but otherwise... You only got Vulcan on the Alistar playing frontline, whereas the side of FlyQuest Academy in Game 3 here, kind of sticking with their comfort.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here. I mean, No is picking a lot more fighters and carry-style champions than maybe I would think in this series, but there's going to be a lot of damage flying around this game.
Oh yeah, people are going to lose their health bars pretty rapidly. And this will be a lot of matchups to watch because I want to see how they play out. I have no idea how Ahri Alistar plays into Xayah Rakan. I assume pretty well. If you get a combo, you land the charm and you get damage, or you do it the other way around. Both of them probably work just fine. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Mid lane is an interesting one that I've seen more of and I can comment on.
Okay.
What works really well for the Ryze in this matchup is the fact that you, one, have point-and-click CC outside the laning phase. And in laning phase, Akali likes to play with the Shroud in the minion wave, and Ryze's damage bounces between targets as long as they are next to the primary one you're casting on. So if Ryze is putting his E on a minion, then Qing it, that will still spread to Akali, and she will still take that damage like you were targeting her yourself. So it forces Akali's play pattern to be a little different than what is ideal, as well as the fact that you generally get a little tankier than a lot of other mages makes it a pretty fine matchup for Ryze. You still need to be worried about getting all in at 6 with the Ignite and burst damage that can come in. But as long as you're aware of that and have played the matchup a couple times, you can often play around it.
Yeah, and Pekholm certainly has a lot of experience on this champion and even in this matchup relatively recently, so see how he navigates this. Sun also had a good Akali showing in Game 1 despite the loss for Clutch. doing to start on Red Valve. Looks like maybe that was solo. No, maybe not. Does still have his smite. That should just be comfortably farming through. Meteor's going to be down on tempo this time around, but certainly on a very sturdy pick for himself there with the Gravis.
Yeah, definitely not a counter pick necessarily. Quite like we were talking about, we were expecting to potentially see into the Graves. Goes for the team-oriented pick, as Meteos is.
Another difference to point out here as well. We saw Phase Rush Cannon in the last game at Max Trobo with the Doran's Blade and press the attack, signaling a much more auto-attack oriented build. Nice stun onto No. He leaps and hammer bomb. He's going to get caught here. Level 1 gets chummed up by Piglet. Vulcan didn't use Ignite. That might have been a kill.
Yeah, a little surprised to see them not go harder on that all-in attempt. They landed the charm. There was that combo we're talking about, as well as the fact that they knocked Quan out of it. Quan did have Flash still available, so I can understand the concern that if you ignite him, he flashes out, and then you both have to double flash in to maybe find the kill or something. But either way, still come out massively ahead in that trade because Piglet on the Ahri will have sustain. Meteos looking up to the top side. The generic cooldown, excuse me, generic rune choice there.
Mystery Keystone. Well, Max Trobo is, you did say that, you know, marksman cannon was maybe a thing in this game. Oh, it is. It's just not in the lane we may have expected.
That's true.
Looks like Max Trobo is going to be kind of, I guess, filling in for the marksman role for Clutch's comp here, which is kind of a cool way to flex around this draft. That's already pretty crazy.
This is a crazy one. I mean, lots of flank should be expected. Isolation, trying to find pickoffs. And the Kennen, like you said, still even with the press the attack, rune choice is still going to struggle into Jace, who just has such a range advantage. But it doesn't mean you can't do anything about it, because if you can set up a gank with Moon, you can easily kill him. Both are relatively squishy. There you see just some of the advantages that Jace has.
Dodge. Giving it the stun as well. Max Trobo actually might be able to find something here. No is low on mana and health. Flash forward. Oh, into the brush. No autos to follow up there.
Yeah, no trinket to match that. And you saw, though, just how this is still a relatively execution-heavy matchup. As soon as No missed the shockwave, or excuse me, shock blast gate combo, Max Trobo took that to go aggressive.
Taking off running low on mana here. Looks like he's chewed through all of his corruption potions. That's going to stun to dive in there. Proc the electrocute. Little low on energy. Going to get the ignite down. Sun looking for the solo kill. Flash Q. That should be enough. Pekkanov burns down and Sun grabs the first blood. Solo kill.
Huge play by Sun to get his team an early lead just 5 minutes into the game. And I was talking about knowing the damage numbers, but if you're not careful, eventually that Akali is going to be able to find those kills. Really, really well done by Sun there.
Knocked by Quan, trying to get damage on the Piglet. Vulcan answers back there with a pulse combo in onto Eri. Quan still chasing down, but the charm did land. That's going to force Rakanna back away and dance over to Xayah.
Interesting trading in the bot lane, as a lot of what Vulcan's going to try and do is either initiate and set up a combo onto one of them to try and insta-kill probably. As we see, hold on here.
This feels bad for Pekkanwolf. He's going to get smoke screen. Sun going to dive back in. Powered Karma ready, but here's Meteos. Going to knock Sun around, but back into the shroud here. Pekkanwolf can't quite find the angle. No flash, can't really follow up here.
Yeah, even though they landed that, Sun was still not targetable by Pekkanwolf, who was obscured in the shroud. Now, at least they're able to trade flashes back, because otherwise there's going to be a bit of an over-aggression by Meteos. They are able to win that 2v2 trade, as Sun had him backed after getting that kill. Went for a greedy attempt to all-in. Hold on, more in the bot lane.
Flash forward from Eri, but there's a double pulver to result. Piglet getting low. Needs a little bit more damage. That's into the turret, though, for Vulcan as Quan dances back to Eri, but still dies to Piglet.
Yeah, the Q damage as he went back actually procced the electrocute by Piglet, which is what I think got the kill, but an excellent punt by Vulcan into the alley-oop taunt out of Piglet. Now he's coming back into lane, just trying to scare Eri away from getting that into turret so he can actually freeze this right here. Not a bad TP, even though he didn't finish healing to full. He still, Arian will be able to sustain up just fine.
Yep, it looks like Hextech Revolver is the first item here, so very aggressive trading choice, but we'll have a Hextech item here for Piglet at some point. Very curious to see how Ari's are building these days, especially from the bot lane, but here's this replay once again.
Yeah, and so a lot of what Vulcan was doing, as I was saying, is trying to counter-engage onto Eri. This time Eri goes aggressive to try and find the kill, but that leads to a double pulverize, and then the knockback onto Quan. Really close to finding that kill. Piglet just barely not dying. But very, very close skirmishes all around the map. And like we said, we expected a lot more kills this game already coming through.
Yep, two for Clutch here, looking good in the early stage for this one. No, maybe looking to pressure, but Hextech flash over. Vulcan finds a double pulve as well. Quan looking to re-engage with Piglet, barely gets out of the knock-up range.
Piglet a little slow on the charm. There was no clear path after the initial engage onto Vulcan, so he tried to hold on to it until the Quan counter engage. Actually sidestepped the Battle Dance very well, but then was a little slow going for the E. Tried to pick him out of his dash attempt, didn't work.
Oh, Shroud down again. Realm Warp gonna get Pekmorph out of there. Oh no! I thought he followed, but he didn't. Nope. That was close.
Actually took his R, I think, just for the damage trade. Did not want to end up under turret and potentially getting picked off. Here we see 6 though, all in for Piglet.
Piglet looking for a find to dash, but the counter knock up there from Quan might be good enough. Still down on level. Stun's gonna land in from the All-Star Auto. Trample able to get one. There's 2 as Piglet grabs the double kill in bot lane.
Here we go, Piglet popping off down there, up to 3-0 already off the back of some good engaging as well by Vulcan. They ding 6 first, and with the extra agency that we're talking about that Piglet loves, he's able to call his own number, go in there and get 2 more kills. And this is starting to look like a bit of a runaway game for Clutch.
Yeah, we talked about the rise. I was joking earlier, but Ari looking good so far in the bot lane.
And this is what I like to see. You know, people with the buffs that came into Marksman, you think that's all you can play now, but Piglet being one of the best Marksman players in the league, still saying, hey, Wizards still working the bot.
As Moon might be face checking Gragas. Yep. Meteos there. Upstruck Brock. Here's No with the flankeroonie.
Oh.
Goodbye, Moon.
Yeah, that's one of those times where you're like, what is Meteos doing trying to fight me here? I'll mess him up. And then a little bit of extra support comes in from No, keeps Meteos alive. They get that kill. Nice bait as No, with that Jace pick, had pressure up on the top side.
Yeah, despite the 1v1 lane not going too hot. No continuing to find roams and help out the team, even on a pick like Jace. And holding a small lead right now versus Max Trobo. So watch this bot side exchange again.
Yep, so they just coordinate really well, hitting 6. He executes the cannon minion to set this one up. Piglet lands the charm. What's nice about Alistar when you're going aggressive into Xayah Rakan lane is that the Rakan will always jump on top of the Xayah, which will give you the double pulverize, which is exactly what he got there. This is that charm. But that's exactly what you want and what you were expecting. Piglet can kick things off with his ultimate. Quan will usually want to use his E to try and protect, and then you get the free combo as long as you're in range. So really nice stuff there. This lane, while being a little foreign to me when I first saw it locked in, is starting to make more sense, specifically into the Xayah Rakan.
Protobot almost done for Piglet as well. Looks to be the item he's choosing for his first one. So we'll have, again, additional threat. Such a good early game item, and Piglet is just playing to bully out the FlyQuest duo.
And the most interesting thing to me this game will be if this bucks the series trend of the game kind of stalling out into the mid to late game. This is obviously a lot more explosive, but if they don't keep this action up, and like I was saying, I prefer the team with better team comp. I prefer the team with better team comp. FlyQuest definitely has a better 5v5.
Meteos here, so going to try and take down Piglet, but he's, just gets caught after the dash. He's still cutting around. He's got 4 people collapsing. He will die. The FlyQuest commit a lot to just get 1 kill.
Nice roam there and cut off onto the bot side. Clutch still don't want to let this one get away for free.
Here come the boys though. Sun looking for Eri. He's going to get chummed up again. Nice hold there from Quan, but Eri still getting chased down. Sun able to follow through and get that kill. The explosiveness continues as Quan. Everyone over the wall. Sun gets a 2nd kill. Meteos now about to get chased down. Flash Q. There's the triple kill for the Akali.
Sun having himself a game as well. Just as we're hyping Piglet up, Sun goes and gets himself a triple kill, up to 4-0 now. 7-2 overall for Clutch, 2K gold lead, and they're slowly probably going to start being able to grind these into turrets. Not quite happened yet, or any Drakes, but this is a great start to the game for a very wonky draft. You know, there's just not a ton of vision control on the side of Clutch Gaming. In the bot side river, they only have a single pink ward down in their tri-bush. They don't have any way to spot the roam that came in from Pekkamwoof, and as a result, Piglets get blown up for it, but they're still down pressure over the course of the game, so even though they're a little slow on the play, once the rest of Clutch Gaming collapses, they don't really have any hope of fighting this one. A very, once again, another kind of ping-pongy fight as they get blasted around all over the place, but Sun, with the stickiness of Akali, can get those triple kills.
Yep, and 4-0, and a Gunblade now finished pretty early on into this game is signaling some real struggles for FlyQuest in the mid-game. Protobot also done now for Piglet, who did take a death. Max Trobo now in onto No, pops the ulti. No going to try and knock him down. Max Trobo flashes, No, follow flashes, but he doesn't die. Max Trobo, he lived.
No, just barely miscalculated his damage.
No.
Meteos, though.
He's trying to get it. Max Trobo dancing around. Flashes can actually predict the movement, but No still shuts him down.
Yeah, No being able to cut off the escape path there made sure that Meteos wasn't left looking silly. They were able to find that kill after No flashed in initially, but now, once again, the counter engaged by Clutch.
It's Moon chasing in with Vulcan, maybe looking to go between the turrets. Q's just barely going to spot him. Moon instead will fall back and take down the camp. Sun again gets rooted, takes a little bit of damage there from the follow-up Q, but trying to harass down Pekkanov, who's looking relatively strong, but Vulcan is going to be the one to try and bait this fight in.
And there's another one as Piglet's left alone the bot side as Vulcan showed up on the top side. Able to stay alive just fine. That's one of the nice things about Ari is didn't even have to use his ult there, but I was going to say you can pretty much ult on reaction to the recon engage if you don't think you can step out of it. And now Vulcan's back down on the bot side, so FlyQuest has to be a little careful.
Yeah, I mean, Quan can get some ults going for those extremely difficult to react to ults, but that's a lot to commit to there for a situation where, especially with Alistar here, you're probably not getting a kill most of the time.
Nope. And that did finish that proto belt like you said he was building. And they are on some pretty big spikes right now on Clutch's side compared to FlyQuest. Both the mid and bot lane already completing a full item.
We'll see if Clutch can continue the pace, as he mentioned. Pekkanov is kind of getting somewhere in his 1v1, just keeping Akali at bay. Sun's been pretty unrelenting in his overall pressure as Meteos is back to the top side. Here for Max Trovo, good knockback there, going to slow him down as well with the to the skies. And now Meteos is here. That's going to be a kill before the TPs can complete. Moon is ready. TPs will be cancelled though, and that FlyQuest is getting a clean kill.
Yeah, but Akali actually breaks off from the path. So once again, Clutch try and react to the top pressure. Can't actually answer back. And this is doing a great job of stalling out because we talk about the difference between trading or contesting. Clutch keeps trying to contest these plays, which stops them from making their own plays. And because they're always just too late to actually contest them, this is FlyQuest stalling the game out, shrinking that lead from 2K a couple minutes ago down to 700, while also getting a lot of these kills onto No, which is establishing their own potential split pusher as this game continues.
Sun again continuing to take poke. Shuriken flips over the wall away from the body slam, but still eats damage. Looks like it is Runic Echoes there for Meteor. Seen a lot of this on Jungle Gragas, so it was a pretty big threat in a lot of these exchanges. Nice way to keep up with a lot of the kind of early game explosiveness that Clutch's draft has.
Definitely case as Quan needs to be a little careful here.
Nice zip away there. Vulcan though, worth a shot, especially with Piglet still playing up and aggressive. Sun again puts down the Shroud. It's level 11. Wants to pressure Pekkanov, but Pekkanov is doing a nice job respecting the range of Akali. Just gets out of the way.
Yep. You know, always sit back a little bit. There's those bounces that always happen that annoy the short range champions that Rise likes to play into sometimes.
Blue buff though, going over. Oh, has to walk around. Oh, never mind. Kunai over the wall. Moon setting that one up nicely with Shuriken flip down. And back to the lane as Rise did take his own base, but Pekkanov is still a little far away from combining up to that Archangels. Needs a few hundred gold still to finish that one off. Obviously with Sun having 4 kills, expected to have a gold lead here. The game's still very much close by all the advantages. Clutch were able to build up. FlyQuest, like you mentioned, did a good job reacting, but it does feel like Clutch can force more action right now. We'll see if they choose to do so.
Yep. They're going to need to pull their own shots, though. They can't keep reacting to the topside pressure as No was handed red buff to just make him even stronger in this 1v1. You know, they can make their own play. They can try and roam down to the bot side, split the map, something like that. But once again, feels like Clutch are sending their resources top to try and sniff out a potential FlyQuest play.
And credit to both mid and bot lane. They're kind of absorbing a lot of that early pressure and just, you know, continuing to farm and stay safe to allow Meteos to, you know, kind of set up a tent here in the top side. He's waiting around. I mean, Max Strober's getting poked. Aries going to go out, get some damage down. Pekkanov is going to walk away from the threat of this Akali and try not to be too bothered by it.
And finally, looks like Clutch making their own. Vulcan off on the side can wrap around here. Pekkanov kind of smells the pressure as they know Vulcan's not on the bot side.
Yep, Root lands in with a stun, but Vulcan is still going to get the pulverized combo. Pekkanov flashes out of the way, but the dance back from Sun. Now Unstoppable is able to get the kill, but the turret in top lane will fall. FlyQuest actually able to pick up that bonus turret gold.
They get their first turret of the game, but most importantly, after breaking that mid lane turret and getting the kill, they can rotate down to the bot side right now as Piglet preps the wave, and they can maybe turn this into a 2-for-1. You see Piglet finishing it off here. doesn't feel like FlyQuest will be able to contest. So you see them actually kind of wrapping around and fighting over the blue buff instead of the turret, but they have to be careful because Akali's up there.
Yeah, Sun's at it again. Also the blue buff pressure is going to give it over to Moon, who smites it down. Looks like Meteos has made his way back down to this bot half of the map, though, after helping out No get the turret. So the gold will remain close, but Clutch, I think, finally doing something proactive here.
Yeah, definitely what you want to see more of, using the fact that Piglet is very safe in a 1v2 to roam the Alistar and make that play happen. The Akali up to 5-0 now. See exactly the combo he used to execute this one.
Minion.
He's backwards to get in range, just gets the damage off right away, then uses his ult to get in range for an auto proc. So didn't even need the second ult charge, uses it there to get some damage down on minions, and that's why people are scared of Akali, because she has so many options to kill you. Doesn't even need to land the E, just do the backwards one. Someone else will bring the CC, you do damage.
In that case, it was Vulcan. Just teleporting himself onto a melee creep. Headbutt, not really a teleport. And again, Vulcan continues to apply pressure here. Clutch still looking good, but Max Trovo is feeling the heat. Does 30 CS down right now.
Yeah, it does feel like Clutch is what I would say has been inferior vision control over the course of the series. Hurts them in a comp like this because Max Strobo just has no vision at all on the top side and has to play super duper safe. Now it is traded out by the fact that right now Clutch has better vision control down the bot side, but once again FlyQuest very good about trading objectives out, good macro plays. They know they can't defend their bot lane turret, so go use that vision you have on the top side, grab the Rift Herald, and hopefully you can use that at some point later in the game to try to get more gold back in your pockets as the lead has gone back to 2K.
Actually gave it to No, interestingly, not the jungler.
Yeah, I thought that was a little surprising too at first, but hold on.
Eri gonna get dove on, does ult nicely, but there's Sun gonna dive back in. Eri almost gets one shot. As Quan is trying to chase down the Akali, but Sun just flashes out to safety before he can get charmed.
I mean, that was a single hit combo. Usually Akali is about going in and out. That was all in, almost killed Eri. Doesn't quite find the kill though. What I think is interesting about that Rift Herald usage is they're trying to create the most split up map pressure that they can. So if No ever finds a solo kill or if they ever gank for him, they 100% want him to be able to drop that and potentially start breaking an inhib on his own because there'll be no one to answer it. As opposed to if you give it to your jungler, he's spending time reacting to plays like that, you won't necessarily find a good time to drop it. So interesting decision by FlyQuest, but I think I like it.
I think so too. Looks like No's actually swapping down to the bot lane, so can maybe at least equalize the current turret score as Eri will move up here to the top side of the map.
It's interesting.
Stop farming these away.
What's interesting with Clutch is any three of their laners feels good in pretty much any three of the lanes. I think the worst one would be Ken in mid because he just doesn't have the wave clear. But that's what's interesting about their comp is you have so many people who can go so many different places. They just need to make sure they get them to the correct ones to snowball the game.
So they're actually moving Sun to the bot lane here and they'll let Piglet have control over mid lane. Kind of makes sense on Ahri. Also a general farming spot for the bot lane player once we are at this point. And Clutch, 20 minutes strong, still looking good.
Yep, Piglet in the mid lane makes a lot of sense. Most wave clear of any of those laners. Also good roaming with his ultimate. Here's Sun though, baiting.
Moon also there, but it's actually a 2v2v2. No! Does get jumped on. Sun gonna try and dash back around. Meteos doesn't quite have enough to finish off a kill, and No is so low already that he's forced to actually flash out of the way. That was a who's baiting who scenario, but unfortunately for FlyQuest, despite getting the last engage, they were still getting baited in.
Yep, both teams not quite sure how to play that one out, and Sun almost found the kill, but the E missed, landed in the Shroud, but not close enough to take the E and get his second ultimate proc off onto No, so he had to go back onto Meteos and almost finish him off, got the flash away, and Vulcan was wrapping around, like you said, so they were on full retreat mode at that point.
Still though, Sun showing what he can do with his lead. Clutch also using that pressure despite getting no kills to at least take a Drake for themselves, so they will pick up their second run of the game as they nab the Cloud.
Nice Drake for them, and finally we give me an Infernal Drake coming up next.
There we go. I'm pretty sure there have been no first or second Drakes being Infernal in this series.
No, it was third in the first game, or fourth?
Yeah, I think it was third. Might have been fourth. No, it was fourth. Double Ocean Cloud.
Yep. Anyway, yeah, that's a great memory. I don't know.
I think though, kind of what you were saying earlier, you know, maybe this game wasn't going to have a kind of dip in action in the mid game. Looks like we are still there. FlyQuest continuing to show up despite all the pressure. No, he's going to use that Rift Turret and take down the turret. So FlyQuest actually equalize on total objectives and keep that gold even. Start to worry that maybe Clutch's comp is going to fall off a little if the game goes maybe 10 more minutes at this rate.
Yeah, absolutely. That is the primary concern. Gragas will get tankier, Ryze will get tankier, and then when you get into those 5v5 situations, they'll take the team with the lockdown CC.
Meteor's getting jumped on though. Max Trobo knocked out by the Gragas cast. It's enough to keep Meteor safe despite no flash, and Shelly finishes off the turret.
Not bad at all. Actually, is going to get them almost close to even in gold. Here's Sun, though.
Oh, zappy zap.
That's a dead bird.
Twilight Shroud, just the round. That was sick. Sun dominating. Takes down Airy.
Yeah, that's another one where I'm just like, why can the E land in the Shroud? Why doesn't Akali need to be able to do that? I don't know. You can already, like, the fact that he E'd into the Shroud away from Airy to take the E back in the Shroud is so useless. Just E backwards at the start. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why you would E the Shroud there. Just either hold it and run around in your Shroud, or E backwards on top of the Xayah.
I think in that specific case, it was to get around Xayah ult.
Yeah, but you can just E backwards underneath her.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
It's one of those kits right now where people are still figuring out how to use it because it's just so, I'm going to say it, broken. It's so broken.
So making it look good this go around. Rest of Clutch also collapsing here for a current 4v3. Airy, though, is going to join back up with the squad in the top lane and get the minions pushing back in their direction. Again, all that pressure really does belong to Clutch right now. FlyQuest are reacting well and playing the map, but it's kind of what they're always doing.
Yeah, and you got to kind of look at Airy a little critically there because there was so much going on around the bot side. They were making a play on Meteos, who was able to disengage and let Shelly get 2 turrets by herself, kind of. And during that time, as the marksman player playing on the flip side of the map, your number one priority is to not die and to protect objectives. And he was pushed up a little far, trying to get a little greedy for some turrets, and the very mobile Akali punishes him for that. And so what was initially a good play by FlyQuest cost you a kill and a turret, back up to almost a 2K gold lead after it was just back close to 0.
Straight Baron is back on the table for these teams as well. It's currently Clutch with the vision advantage, and I think they were maybe a little too hesitant around the objective in the last game, so we'll see if that changes here, although unfortunately for them, they don't have a particularly stellar Baron comp. Certainly not a standard comp, so it can be tough to take the big worm.
Yeah, not great DPS on any of these champions. Kennen and Graves will, funnily enough, be your best 2 for it, and they lack a lot of tankiness as well. Not good turn-off. So a lot of this will be more about splitting and potentially baiting it, but with Jace having pressure over this Kennen, it does make that game plan a lot harder to actually execute on.
And this is kind of what happened in the last Scholar game for Clutch, where it was Poppy versus Ornn that time around, but no had the sideline advantage, and it felt like someone from Clutch constantly had to go down and help him, rather than spread out their assassins across the map and just try and find picks while you win the other side lane.
Yeah, and another part of the problem is that the Akali doesn't have TP, so you can't match the Jace versus the Akali versus the Jace. You might be able to do it with Piglet, but his is on cooldown for another 4 minutes now, so for now you just have to kind of eat the bad lane matchup in the bot side, sack the pressure, and hope that your 4-man can kind of offset it around this Baron buff.
Yep, we'll see if FlyQuest can continue to use that pressure point effectively, or if Airy's going to face check a Ninja once more. 2 items there for both bot laners actually. Piglet finished a Ludens and has an Oblivion Orb, so certainly with some of the item advantage from the extra gold he's gotten. Vulcan again looking, but another nice dash back from Quan.
It does feel like it's a little hard for Vulcan to start those. Maybe Piglet needs to, but that's why Rakan's a pretty good champion. Very mobile, hard to lock down as a support. Find those opportunities to walk forward without dying.
I like the idea there for Meteos to know, but unfortunately there's no real good angle to go over that pit. Meteos though going to be back to the same spot. Look for Piglet again.
A little too much uncertainty. You see question mark pings going down on the Akali. Meteos doesn't really want to go there. He gets spotted on a ward now. They finally ping him, finally know where Meteos is, and that was one of those tense moments where both teams just lacked a little bit too much information for either one to want to pull the trigger on any play.
Maybe thinking of joining in the recall, but actually just going to stay mid and shoot down another wave. Piglet though, happy to do the same. Very efficient wave clear right now. As both these bot laners do continue to farm up. Infernal Drake, the one you like so much,
Yeah,
coming up in 20 seconds. Kind of snuck up with, again, a lot of that map play here from FlyQuest, trying to use their Jace to get an edge, but looks like another engagement will be on the table soon.
Yeah, but it feels like FlyQuest are a little late setting up for it. You see right now Quan's actually up on the top side prioritizing getting Baron Vision as Clutch is 5-man strong around this objective. I like the dedication to it because this feels like a game that's going to be resolved by fighting and fighting only. And you definitely want as many of those stats as you can get. Plus, having 4 carry threats will make great usage of the fact that it's bonus amplification. So really good when you have real threats and not just carries.
Oh, Max Trovo. Good the old solo. Does take down the Drake.
I think they knew Quan was in there, and we had a backwards E by stun into a wall to stop him from being able to engage on that. There's actually a... I heard the sound of the E, but I didn't see exactly what happened, and I didn't see him get over the wall, so I think he kind of flubbed that, unfortunately. But they still got the Infernal Drake, most importantly, up to 3 Drakes now, and kind of securing that late game for themselves a little bit better, despite the fact we're talking about FlyQuest having the better comp. Eventually, you have so many more objectives that we have the better comp now.
And that's usually the FlyQuest MO in a lot of these games. So FlyQuest continuing to, again, try and play up and get stuff done on the map, but Clutch doing a pretty good job keeping the map under their control. And there are so many threats, both for engage and for damage, that FlyQuest are playing probably appropriately reserved, but still very reserved. Baron is still also a thing. There's also a second Infernal on the way in a number of minutes. Is the fight actually going to break out? Vulcan going to get chunked a little, but pops his ult and is not too worse for wear. Sun also just dancing around, pops down the shroud in mid, but FlyQuest sticking together at this point. They kind of know that, all right, they don't really want to split up, which kind of sucks given that their Jace was doing so well.
Yeah, unfortunate that the pressure has kind of pulled them back to the mid lane, but they're probably not too upset about it as Ares still working on his 3rd item. Starting to build up to that BF sword, I assume. Actually grabs a Null Magic Mantle. I wonder if he would go Hex Drinker into Maw with that build, or potentially just going for a QSS next. Has a lot of options because he did go with the Storm Razor first item, which gives you that slightly better 1-item power spike. And when you supplement it with a Zeal item, that's not the worst 2-item power spike to kind of branch off to something more defensive, which I can really understand going for against this comp from Clutch.
Yeah, already had one encounter with the Akali. Does not want to have a similar situation. Lichbane, though, done now for Sun, so very strong.
Yeah, very scary right now. And what I hope to see Clutch do is actually be able to pull the trigger on some of these plays and snowball the game versus stall out for another 4.5 minutes until the next Infernal Dragon spawns. It does feel like ever since they've broken into this 1-3-1, they haven't found their way to pick a fight now that there's no longer lanes. But here we go.
Ooh, surprise.
Yeah.
One, I think, already used Battle Dance. Goodbye. Ooh, nice stopwatch.
Oh, Ares in trouble now, too, up on the other side of the fight.
Delay his death. Max Trovo, though, still finishing him off, and their Sun dancing in onto Ares. Goodbye. Lichbane also ready to go. They're just going to keep chasing for kills here. Clutch. Don't need the Baron, just kill them all.
Yeah, they want to kill Meteos, make sure that there's no smite to possibly contest this. Feels like FlyQuest know this is a very important fight, and they're actually taking it.
Yeah, Chain Stun's here for Max Trovo, but Sun goes legendary as he picks off Meteos. And all of a sudden, the Baron is theirs for the taking.
And it gets broken open by a big mistake out of FlyQuest. Bot lane, Quan out of position, going for vision control, just gets walked on top of by the Alistar and pulled. Can't battle dance out of that one, so just goes down instantly right away. Now, after the tail end of that fight, Meteos dropping means a free Baron, and now they're 1-3-1.
Pretty much only No can steal this, by the way. Oh, good block anyway. Really nice stuff there from Clutch. I mean, Rise will not get a Q through there. No, so Nova's the only chance. Clutch recognized that.
Sun. Zanya's.
Celebration Zanya's. Delays his recall.
Don't think that was a good idea. And Quan has been really being way too dangerous with his vision control. I went back and looked that time that I thought Sun almost hopped the wall. He tried to and just failed it. If he managed to get that off, he would have absolutely killed Quan then. And the exact same brush, Quan being way too confident on the slipperiness of the Rakan pick, you need to realize that the enemy team is not a bunch of standard control mages. These are very sticky champions who can chase you down and kill you. And so, of course, the Akali is able to get onto other members. Like, of course, Vulcan and Max Trovo and everyone's able to chase you down. So, huge mistake out of Quan, who was having a great first 2 games. Bit of a come down here.
Yeah, you can see that it's the kind of situation where Clutch's comp, you know, not particularly traditional. Can be tough to siege sometimes, but it'll be a lot easier now with the Baron, especially with how much threat they have under turrets when the minions are pushing their way. That's Trobo currently getting chased down, but doing a good job so far staying safe and letting the other 2 lanes apply pressure here.
Yeah, more than aware the enemy team was collapsing on him. Just leaves Sun some time alone. Moon intelligently rotates down to help take this turret. Very clean macro play by Clutch, using this Baron buff to accelerate the game.
Yep, this is some of the more straightforward stuff, but still good to see done well. Piglet and Vulcan hoping for a pick-off, but could be tricky. Moon going to rotate in. Sun also continuing his pressure in the bot lane. I don't think Heckenwolf is that afraid 1v1, but everyone else should be.
I think even Heckenwolf needs to be a little respectful. Hold on, they got Piglet.
One going to dive in. They do nab Piglet. No, and a killing spree is Sun over the wall. Going to try and follow up here.
And that was a really nice play by FlyQuest, who were pressuring around the top side and got some vision control back for themselves. You see 2 to 3 pinks up there, so that way they can rotate back down to the mid lane and they attack Piglet from that angle. Smart play by FlyQuest. That pickoff stalling the game out now for Clutch Gaming.
And the further away you get from taking inhibitor turrets, the worse it is, especially for a 30-minute Baron. It's a big blow to Clutch's momentum here after taking the objective.
Yeah, it feels like they're going to have to wait for the respawn on Piglet. Infernal Drake up in 15 seconds, and that will basically take up the rest of their time with the Baron buff. Only getting a single turret with it. Not at all the ideal play.
Might even lose the Drake depending on how quick FlyQuest want to be here.
Piglet does have teleport, so he will be able to get involved in this fight right away. Don't think that there's a way that they get this without a fight, but they might still be able to get it.
Wonder if FlyQuest want to pick one here. They are going to start the Drake. No, they're going to have to take it away. No pink ward here in the pit, but they're actually going to leave Realm Warp out of the way.
Missed a couple.
Alpha Squad gets there, but not too bad. Clutch going to get 1 turret here. Maybe the inhib if they can get there real quickly.
Interesting decision to sack the Dragon and use what's little of their Baron buff left to actually crack an inhibitor turret. I like this play a lot.
Can they get more without losing too much? They get the inhib. Now what happens? Meteor's looking for the engage with the flank, but can't quite find it. Clutch Gaming going to get out of there. Perhaps Kwon going to try and dance in and get a pick off. They do get Max Trobo. Heckenwolf able to seal the last hit on that one. So only 1 loss is not bad at all for Clutch.
Yeah, Meteor's doing a good job right now finding these easy, squishy targets and popping them back into his team, where they have plenty of damage to finish them off. But I actually really like the macro decision made there by Clutch. I was saying if they fight this Elder Dragon or the Infernal Dragon, which I expected they would, that would have taken too long for them to be able to use their Baron buff. And knowing that they are much more concerned about breaking inhibitors because they do not have a good siege comp, they actually elected to go with the rest of their Baron buff, sack the Infernal Dragon, and use that to take the inhibitor. Only problem, not very clean getting out. It didn't feel like they were ready to fight. I don't know. I think they probably could have been in the mindset more that if they can test us here, let's just fight them because we're 5v5 still and we're very strong. We have an 8-0 Akali. If they come to try and contest us, let's go in. But felt like the team had the retreat call already made after the inhib, said inhib and back. And they were more than willing to leave 1 man behind. Not the no man left behind strategy.
All right, well, now with Super's pressuring in the mid, even though Ares is getting there on itemization, he does have that Hex Drink he thought he was going to grab, but Wall's away from the Infinity Edge at this point.
Yeah, and I don't mind the Hex Drinker instead of the QSS that I thought he might be going as well, just because there's not that much to QSS off the enemy team. It's basically a Piglet Charm, which you should be outranging for the most part anyways. You're not going to QSS the Vulcan engage unless you're going to QSS Flash instantly, which is still pretty useful. Kennen being a press the attack, Kennen probably won't be going for big fat flanks onto you, so it's a lot more about staying alive than it is about not getting hit with a long-range CC like a Morgue Binding or something.
Another good pressure bit as well there from FlyQuest as they do actually get the mid outer turret. But it looks like with 2 sidelines pushing in, Clutch were happy to kind of give up just a little objective there that honestly they were unlikely to defend for much longer anyway, and just try and get more things done in the side lanes. Oh, dancing onto no. Not the 1v1 he wanted. Perfect execution 1. There's the GA. Now going to look for yet another kill. Getting zip away. What's going on? I don't know. Max Trobo looking for Heckenwolf though. He's going to get the lightning down, but he's not going to leave the minions. They're trying to turn it all around, but the Blade of the Ruined King's going to kick in. Max Trobo is going to be okay, and somehow No's alive.
Oh my god, the red buff as well ticking there to keep him alive. That sustain keeping him up. Sun misses the final kill onto No. He used both procs of the ultimate pre-GA, so his only gap closer left up was his E. Tried to hit him with that and missed, and so No on the flash out was able to survive. Still very good to get the flash in the GA for only his ignite. And the pressure kind of mounting now with Baron up in another 50 seconds. Losing flash on Peckenwolf as well means that these are some immobile, squishy champions that were your solo laners.
Still, FlyQuest continue to defend, holding on to most of their turrets. Actually, just looks like they lost the tier 2 in bot lane. But defending what they can, keeping inhibs alive. Baron is back up in 30 seconds, so no time to really rest here for either side. Peckenwolf with the TP, level 18, and 3 items already done. We've seen him do work on the rise. Couldn't quite carry the rest of the game in the last one, but certainly windows here for FlyQuest to win fights, as we've kind of been talking about all game long. Again, we're going pretty late in this one.
Here Max Trobo goes, just flashes in on the engage, gets the stun. So many attacks there, almost finished him off with the last second flash plus phase rush proc, as well as another shield there got by Peckenwolf. Really good job understanding the rise kit to get out there. Does trade the flashes though. Almost worked for Max Trobo. I like seeing him try to make that play. You know there's a fight going on the top side. You probably saw people collapsing up there, so you know you have the isolated 1v1, and almost won it. Was super close to being able to get that in his favor. Just came up a little short.
Quick push wars continue though. Peckenwolf has to answer yet another wave. FlyQuest also a vision around the Baron that has respawned to Meteos, just trying to find a pick-off. As Clutch look to do the same. Not really a team that can just start Baron straight up. We'll have to see if they can bait FlyQuest in here, as Moon is going to pop the control ward in the back of the pit. Shoot down that ward Meteos just placed there.
Moon has to be a little careful going for that vision control. Enemy team doesn't know where his allies are, but did feel like he was far enough forward to get bopped back and maybe in some trouble. Now with the Baron buff up, the 1-3-1 in full effect, Akali top. You have the Kennen in the bot lane with his TP available, pressuring mid.
Kind of where you want to be.
And the question is, can they find another angle? Last time they got the Baron because Quan missed position. This time, I doubt we'll see that again, and so it'll be on Clutch to actually find their own angle.
In him back as well, and also the third item has been completed for Airy with the Infinity Edge done. Also a pick on Akali would be big if they can grab it. Peckenwolf is here for the instant CC. He's going to get the damage down. Luden's Echo is going to proc. TP in as well. They're going to try and bounce around. They saw the glimmer. Sun going to have to kite out of there. Back into the shroud. Now going to dance out of the way, but Meteos tracks him down. The stopwatch going to keep him alive. He's on. He's to barely go live, but no able to find the snipe. Now Peckenwolf goes into stasis to protect himself, and Quan going to dance back for the shields. They'll pick off Max Trobo despite losing their mid laner. And FlyQuest, they actually find 2 kills there.
Yeah, they're going to keep chasing. They do have a fair amount of utility to do this. Speed up by the Jace coming in. Uh-oh.
Buffett body slam. Quan looks for it, but can't quite find Piglet, who's forced to ulti away. Meteos is dead, though, in front of the Baron pit.
2 for 2 right now. 1 jungler left alive, but both very, very low. I don't think they'll want to go for this Baron buff, and a really nice attempt by FlyQuest onto the Akali. He's really low energy, so he has to use his W right away to get that back up, as well as try and survive this. The TP starts coming in a little late, doesn't get channeled instantly, and then the bounces from the minions, that's what I was talking about, how it will help you find them. He's able to try and get out pretty well. The Zanya's also keeping him alive, but watch how many tools they dump onto Peckenwolf. They land this, and then it's the ult and the Q from the grave. You know, that drops a lot of damage down that he could have been throwing over the top here, and with that, I think FlyQuest were aware and got a little overzealous. They tried to keep chasing down, but Vulcan had a really nice turn on the Meteos, and the fact that they still have a DPS champion available in the Graves is huge.
They also tried to stop the Elder Dragon in that last replay. Looks like FlyQuest forced them off there as well, and Meteos is now back to contest for these monsters. So despite, again, all this lead that Clutch had, and still has, at least reflected in the gold, FlyQuest have kind of done their thing. They've pushed this game to 41 minutes. And it feels like Clutch are kind of out of steam.
Yeah, it feels like Clutch really struggles at finding their own opportunities. Once again, that came off the back of a FlyQuest attempt. And so if they don't start getting their own plays, eventually FlyQuest is going to hit a home run here. A lot of these have been, you know, bunts, singles, but if they ever, you know, actually, yeah, if they ever get a really nice play here, they can just end the game themselves because they have a really great late game comp.
By Elder Dragon, can someone get a steal? Nope, Peckenwolf instead able to secure it. Moon through the ulti in for the Hail Mary. Not going to grab it. Now Baron back on the table. Clutch going to run left.
Yeah, the classic, we were too late to Elder, let's run to Baron now across the map. The enemy team's going to try and contest. The Baron, or the Elder buff, excuse me, is not extremely strong. It's only a single Elemental Drake behind it, but it got it off the map, and now you can see Clutch kind of starting it half-heartedly, not really committing.
Yep, looks like some vision was thrown in. They're trying to do this safely this time around. Quan not looking to face check anymore. It is a trap being set by Clutch. Tom's going to hit Quan, but not too bad. Redemption even is in the pit to get some vision. Now they know that Clutch aren't there, so they're just going to push the minions down mid lane.
Yep, once again, FlyQuest macro coming out ahead. The gold lead has shrunk down to 2.5.
Oh, Hooped, I found them.
I don't think Clutch wants to go there. The rest of their team is way too far away. And with this control they have now, FlyQuest are actually in a position to start contesting the Baron buff themselves. They have some good vision down.
Not even to start it up and use the Elder Dragon to help them out in either fight that happens, but seems like the dual lane will recall. Meteos again going to zone them out of the way. No is popping his Ghostblade, running towards the Akali, just trying to be a threat. And Quan and Area, it looks like they did not complete that recall, so I think FlyQuest are dancing around trying to find an opening for this Baron.
They're trying, and with the teleports being down the top laners, they've mostly given up. And now FlyQuest are going to just start this 5-man.
Attack slash over there for Vulcan. They're going to try and look for the fight right now. Max Strobo looking to get in there with the ult. He needs to get a bunch of stuns. Oh my god, Mooney stole the Baron! Now it's Clutch going to dive into the fight and maybe find a hit about FlyQuest. Able to get that first kill, but Sun is dancing around. Piglet also trying to get into the fight, but he's kind of struggling to get in there. Eri is going to have to kite out of the way. He's going to leave No for dead as Sun gets killed by Peckenwolf over the wall. Saves No, and Clutch, I thought they had it, but they stole the Baron and fumbled the fight.
Oh my god, that looks so close to going in FlyQuest's favor. The fact that they got the Baron buff down early. Max Strobo thinking he's AP Ken and dives straight into the pit right away. Rather than keeping them corralled there, he goes and sacrifices himself to make sure they can't get out. Taking a look at this one. Vulcan with the Hex Flash goes in, has the Pulverize, and then Max Strobo goes in for the ult, which gets a lot of stuns down. And maybe that's what allows Moon to get the ult smite off, because everyone was so distracted by the Kennen, who instantly dies after, but that bought enough time for Piglet to get in range of the fight. They start trading back, they get a lot of the damage off, and then just some small mistakes here as Sun takes his E over the wall and runs up into Peckenwolf instead of down away from him. Then a late charm by Piglet allows No to walk away. I don't think he had vision over the wall to know exactly where he was or how far into the respawn timer he was, so you know, that, all things considered by FlyQuest, sucks that the Baron buff got stolen, but the 2 for 2 at the very end is not the end of the world as the gold lead continues to hover around the same number.
And at this point,
Oh my god.
basically irrelevant if you see a lot of damage.
Everyone does damage on the side of Clutch.
Even Alstar chipping in.
Yeah, it's a fair amount.
Yeah.
I got a big Pulverize, a lot of E procs off. As Quan in a rough spot again.
Another nice battle dance away. Piglet though chasing down Realm Warp, gonna try and get him out of there. Real slick stuff. Although the charm is gonna still land on some Meteos, who's forced to flash away.
Very dangerous there by FlyQuest. They were very far extended into the bot lane. Piglet couldn't quite land the charm and interrupt one of them on the Rise ultimate, and then Vulcan's W just barely getting him out from the combo, or excuse me, Quan's W barely getting him out of Vulcan's combo, but now the fat minion wave, triple cannon creep wave, takes that turret down by themselves.
Mid-inhib also looking to get retaken here by Clutch. They've still got a minute 15 left on the Baron buff. Could be 2 inhibs down here. FlyQuest might want to fight now, but a charm into Quan almost gets shot down by Graves. Moon actually is able to find the snipe with collateral damage, and that's going to give that inhib over to Clutch.
They still have the Baron buff. Looks like they want to ignore the top wave and keep pushing to try and end the game. Not a bad call. It would have taken a really long time. They want to use this last minute of the Baron.
Ult by Meteos. And FlyQuest defense here.
Get the first Nexus turret down. Feels like FlyQuest are going to have to go here.
With what though? Meteos now ulti, not a whole lot of other engage there with Quan dead for still so long. The Nexus is now exposed. But Clutch, they don't want to move too far forward. They're waiting for the waves.
Yeah, this is fine. 30 more seconds on your Baron buff, 20 on the respawn. You can take this relatively slow.
Trying to find Stone Vulcan again. He's going to try and tie up. No. Max Trobo. Actually, Meteor's going to pop in the stasis and try and dance out of there. But Peklov almost dead to stun, who forethought the Arcane to seal. Now again uses his own stasis. Clutch.
Oh, nice engage.
Enough time, but the pulverize is nice. Still, FlyQuest still fighting it out. Area is almost dead to Max Trobo, but he does actually get the kill. Quan is here, finds the charm. Moon grabs a double kill, but the GA Resurrect might be enough to save it. The Nexus is so low, just needs a few more auto. The respawn last hit from Moon is enough, and Clutch will go up 2-1.
Living up to their name, barely clutching that game out. It stalled out so much longer than anyone would have thought it would have, and at the very end of the game, a huge smite steal by Moon is basically the only reason they are able to finish that out, as it gave the triple cannon buff down the bot side and corralled FlyQuest in their base so they could finally end it.
And it didn't seem like enough. You know, despite the traded kills, the Baron steals, oh, it's all the Baron steals, great. But as it turned out, it actually was to do exactly what you said, to siege down the lane, to apply enough pressure to just force FlyQuest into a bad spot for one of the first times it felt like in the late game.
And you could see how close that team fight was at the end. Still, it was not a clean close out the game now that we've picked off the support. I feel like if Quan was still alive and didn't get kind of picked off for free there with the Graves ult finishing him off, I don't think Clutch actually can end the game there. They might get both your inhibs. They'll have to back and then go topside, which has a big minion wave. Then you can maybe pick your own fight and the game continues to stall out. I think the death of Quan was really the game sealer.
And there was a lot of that, unfortunately, in that game. After 2 really good games, a player that's been, you know, a little lukewarm, all things considered. Again, these series are long and these games are very long. Like, it's going to start to get to you.
Yeah, this was definitely the case where the first 2 games out of Quan were great. Borderline, like, player of the game in the first one. Second game, another great game, even though they lost it. And then here, really struggling to have an impact on the recon pick.
All right, let's go all the way back to the beginning, because this draft was great from Clutch.
Yeah.
Akali and Ari really kicked things off for Clutch Gaming Academy. Let's watch some highlights.
Yep, you land that E. That's often a great chance to find a solo kill. And the refreshing his energy a couple times with the passive was huge, which allowed him to have enough damage to get that kill. Meanwhile, on the bot side, a really, really close play. I think a mistake by Aerie to flash on top of his own support. This allows the double pulverize and eventually the punt back alley-oop into the charm, gets the kill into the turret. And then once they got that level advantage, because Piglet TP'd back into the wave to freeze it, they get 6 first, and they can use this to kind of close out the kills. And this was kind of what ended the laning phase for FlyQuest down the bot side after a couple 2v2 skirmishes didn't go in their favor. Clutch Gaming was also reacting. They were getting people onto the map and collapsed down his bot side a couple times. And Akali, after getting the first kill, is going to be able to run through this fight using all her cooldowns to get the triple blast cone over on Quan, get the auto attack, keep charging forward. Gonna get the flash Q finalized there for the 3rd kill.
And again, it was fun stuff. Once again, Sun also.
Oh, this replay again.
You love this one.
I don't know. Like, you can just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Instead of throwing your E there and then taking it, just E that direction the first time. It's faster.
I got you.
It's faster.
Still worked out, though. I mean,
Hey,
it's
that's Akali. You can do whatever you want, and you'll probably still end up on top of the enemy champion.
Yes, that's fair. As we were checking with yet another replay. Clutch fighting things out. Again, despite the stalls in this game, they did have a lot of good-looking moments here in the 5v5. This was Quan face checking a little too early.
Yeah, after FlyQuest had done such a fantastic job stalling out, FlyQuest started getting a little over-eager with their Baron control vision despite not being stronger in the game. This baits a situation where a number of FlyQuest members start dropping. Meteos feels like they have to fight here, otherwise they're going to lose the Baron buff, but kind of gets disengaged on a little bit. Very hard for Gragas to find that fight. Gets picked off as a result, and then with the dead jungler and 5 people still left up, Clutch is able to grab their first Baron of the game, and it felt like game over at that point because they were snowballing early, they were stalling out a little bit. This was around the 30-minute mark, but then bam, there's a free Baron buff handed to you with a bunch of kills.
Unfortunately for them, someone gets picked off, they can't, the game stalls out a little bit longer, and FlyQuest continue to show resilience and play the games that they've played, which is some very long, very steady games. And Clutch, there is still a worry that they have not been able to decisively close out games.
Yeah, that's a big concern still. I think they have a lot to clean up, especially you know, with the expectation that they have pretty high goals here on playoffs. They really need to step it up. But for now, they just have one more game they're going to need to get through, and they have plenty of things that they can do in the short term.
Well, they still won it, and this was how FlyQuest were kind of coming back in the game, but unfortunately lose the Baron at a critical time as Moon swoops in for a steal.
Yeah, FlyQuest had better macro, had actually gotten the Elder Dragon for themselves, and were about to get the Baron buff down, but the enemy team going to all in them in the pit. The fight's going pretty well, but they lose the Baron buff. And after getting disengaged by a lot of them getting out of the pit, they're able to find one more kill as you see the Akali taking the E over onto No, pops the blast cone, but then gets popped by Rise himself. And you can just imagine 3v3 disengage there. We have Baron buff. They're not in that situation where they're pinned up and corralled into their base. That is what happens, unfortunately, for them. And after that, Quan gets picked off one more time, the game's over.
Yep, interesting to see this gold graph. So despite the kind of increase over time of gold for Clutch all game long, you can just see some points where it dips back down or plateaus, and that's what you don't want to see in a game when you see a graph. You want to see a nice smooth incline going all the way up to the 10K mark, and then the Nexus explodes and you win.
Yeah, definitely the case where, you know, Clutch had such a great early game that the fact that they were not able to close that out cleaner is a little disappointing. And I think I liked what they did with the draft.
Oh, yeah.
I really liked the kind of flexing things around, scaring people, finding counter picks. I thought, for the most part, I like what FlyQuest did as well, where they got a winning matchup on the top side and had a superior 5v5 team comp. It just so happened that the early game went disastrously for them, opting into probably too many fights down the bot side. The mid lane matchup, I've seen Beckenwolf play it. I think he's like a 1-2 in it, and I understand why it's supposed to be a good matchup, but still feels like if you mess up at all, Akali will find that solo kill, which happened again here. I like the LeBlanc a lot more. I understand Rise makes for a better team comp, but I don't know, just one of those things where I think might have gotten away from them in this game.
And we talked about some of that like draft being, you know, kind of risky, kind of a gambit. Now that they're up 2-1 in the series, there is so much for FlyQuest to worry about in the back two games, because like, I think bot lane got like way more destroyed than they thought with a mage in the bot lane. So now that Piglet has shown, I'm also willing to do this. Ari and Quan, excuse me, just don't have as many avenues to like try and win the lane. And if they don't go even in that lane, I think it's really tough for FlyQuest to win.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the case. First game, they were actually winning the lane. Second game, it was pretty close to even. They were winning the game, and then eventually this Piglet comp gets online. Then this game, it's a snowball comp, and it gets the snowball going. I think it's going to be too hard to ban out one of these strategies. So I think as long as you just focus on getting a good matchup and then not over fighting it, not trying to punish every little mistake that they make, especially if you're not familiar with the matchup, which I don't think anyone's familiar with, Ari Alistar.
Well, certainly fun to watch, although I am not familiar either. Clutcho and our match point for moving on to the semifinals here in Academy Playoffs. We'll see if they can close out or if FlyQuest will take us all the way to Game 5. Academy League Playoffs returns right after this.
Hold on, more in the bottom.
Oh, flash forward from Eri, but there's a double pulver to resolve. Piglet getting low. Needs a little bit more damage. That's into the turret, though, for Vulcan as Quan dances back to Eri, but still dies to Piglet. He's going to get chummed up again. Nice hold there from Quan, but Eri still getting chased down. Sun able to follow through and get that kill. The explosiveness continues as Quan. Everyone over the wall. Sun gets a second kill. Meteor's now about to get chased down. Flash Q, there's the triple kill.
Even in goal. Here's Sun, though.
Oh, that's Zappy Zap.
That's a dead bird.
Twilight Shroud. Just around. That was sick. Sun dominating.
Can I?
Akali, 1 HP, 1 HP.
They're all on me, they're all on me. I need
No, Akali's dead, Akali's dead. Fight. Help Rise. Can.
Gotta get shield.
Yeah, watch out.
Ori no ult, Ori no ult.
2 seconds,
Ori
2
has
seconds
no
on my E.
Oh my god, Mooney stole the Baron! Now it's Clutch gonna dive into the fight and maybe find a hit on FlyQuest. Able to get that first kill, but Sun is dancing around. Piglet also trying to get into the fight, but he's kind of struggling to get in there. Eri is gonna have to kite out of the way. He's gonna leave No for dead as Sun gets killed by Peckenwolf over the wall.